Hi everybody, and welcome to this episode of 730 Cup of Tech. It's always kind of strange. One person will ask a question, and it seems like after they ask the question, a whole bunch of other people ask about it. And that happened with this particular episode. And there happened to be quite a few people who were asking about being able to create a blog to be able to use with their students. And one of them was even to use with fellow teachers in the district. And they were asking, what's a simple blog that we can create that isn't going to cost anything and really doesn't have much of a learning curve? And I have a simple answer for everybody on that one, and that's use the program called Padlet. Padlet is free. When you sign up for the free account, you're able to create 6 different blogs as you're using it. And just kind of watch through this and you'll see how easy it is to be able to use. So first of all, you just need to go to Padlet.com and you need to create an account if you don't already have an account. And you'll see in the upper corner here, I have login, and when I get into login, it'll ask for my username as we go through, or you can use a Google account if you happen to use it, or you can log in with your Microsoft account, which is really handy too. And I just happen to have one that I use with my school account, and I'm going to log in on here. And here we go. As you come to a very unremarkable page in here. And as you look at it, it really kind of explains itself pretty easily with it. And I'm going to just go in the upper right corner and click on Make a Padlet. Now you do have some choices for your Padlet, whatever it is that you'd like to share and get feedback from. And the most popular one is the one called Wall, and that's when you click on this, you can see you can create just a wall that can post your information on. There is one that's called Stream, so you can just kind of have a stream of consciousness. You can share your thought in there. There's one called a Grid that you can go in, and you notice that the page breaks itself up into grids. There is a Shelf where you're able to go in here and you do kind of create shelves where you can adjust the sides of the different shelves that you create. There is one that's a map. I kind of like the map one. You can preview, you can put a map on, you can kind of outline where the map goes. There's one that's just called Canvas, and that's where you just have like an organization chart that they have here. You can go on and you can just kind of lay things out across the page. And there's also one that's called a Timeline, which you can post your information in a timeline format as you go across, and then you can click on your entries as they go across. Now, everything in Padlet is made to be interactive with somebody else, and that's the beauty of this. And it's actually kind of difficult, or not difficult, it's hard to believe that they can offer this for free. And there is a paid subscription that you can have for it if you'd like. Any of these that you would want to be able to use or experiment with, all you have to do is click Select, and it'll start your Padlet. Now it comes up with the default in here, but you can change any of this information that happens to be on here. So you'll see on the window that opens, it has My Radiant Padlet. That's the title. And you'll notice that's right up here in the upper left corner. You can add a description in, which is always really handy, especially if you're working with students, where you can come up here and you can see it just gives a little more definition to what your title of your Padlet happens to be, of your blog. You can choose an icon that will appear, and I'm just going to choose an icon for this right here, and you'll see the icon popped in up on the left side. The address, there we go. The address is the address that your Padlet is. That's what you would share with people. You can also change the wallpaper. That's the background. So instead of being cupcakes, you could come in here, you could go to textures and patterns, and you could choose a texture and a pattern that you'd want to lay across on the page if you'd like. You can use any of those. And you'll notice I keep clicking the back arrow so I'm able to keep getting back into the settings that I would like to be able to use. Now you also do have a color scheme that you can choose for this, and the color scheme just kind of puts it in like a darker mode or a lighter mode if you would like. You can also choose your font, and if you watch up here in the left corner, I can click on a font and you'll notice it does change the looks of the font that ends up being the default for the postings that people will put for their blogs. Attribution is where if you click this, it will show the person's name above their entry that they put into the blog. Now that can be good, that can be bad. Remember, we are working with students, and if they're below 13 years old, we can't publicly have them putting their name out there. So you can leave it on, you can keep it off, whichever works in your particular circumstance. If you leave it off, all it'll show is anonymous above the post. You can have the new post position. Where do new posts appear? Do they come first? Do they come last? You can have comments so that viewers can comment on posts. Now, part of a blog is the beauty of being able to post your feelings about someone else's blog. Reactions in here. This is where you can come in and you can have no reactions. You can put down where people would like a certain post that's put in, or they can vote, or they can star it. I'm just going to leave this one at none. You can experiment with that if you would like on your end. Now, this approval, this can be a really critical one, especially in an educational atmosphere. This is requiring approval before a post can display on your blog, onto Padlet. And if you have students, this is really good because it's a very nice protective feature that you could be using before someone posts something there. You wouldn't want to have questionable language appearing or someone sharing an inappropriate thought on your blog. Now, I am going to leave this off because in a minute I'm going to actually do a little bit of a blog, and I want you to be able to see how that actually appears, and I need to have that off. Now, the filter for profanity may be a good item to be able to have on here because it does replace any bad words with nice little emojis that appear. And we don't really need to worry about map a domain on the bottom. So once you have all this entered, just click Next. And it just says, are you ready to start posting? And you can go, yeah, I'm ready to start posting. So we click, and nothing has happened. That's because you have to go to the lower right corner, and you need to click on the plus sign to be able to start blogging. So we're going to enter a subject on here, and let's just call it bulletin board. I'd like to get some feedback about the bulletin board I have in my classroom. So we come down here, and we can type in, what is your favorite part of our classroom bulletin board? And then why? Now you do have down on the bottom also where you can do a little bit of a different color scheme inside this if you'd like. By far the most common is white, but go ahead and experiment with the others. Once you have everything in here the way that you'd like it to be, click Publish. There you go. Now, what's really nice is on your end, you can drag this around if you'd like, so you can have these being posted anywhere you'd like. I'm going to just leave it in the middle of the page. Now, I can have this on here, but you're going, how can I get this so my students can enter or other teachers can do a blog? They can add something to it. And you have share in the upper corner, or if you remember the one other spot that we had when we were setting it up, if you'd have copied that, you could send that link off. But if you go to share, it's not a problem because look at all of the different items that you can have for your sharing. Right now this is secret, so nobody would be able to see this. Even if you sent the link out, it'd be just a blank board that they'd be seeing on here. So we want to change the privacy settings of it, and let's make it public. Now you could have a password that would have to be entered before people can get in, or you can enter the names of students in. And then under your permissions, you can choose, they can only read it, they can write to it, or they can also edit. Not a good idea necessarily to choose edit. Leave it kind of as the can write, because that's the most typical format that you use. I'm going to click Save, and I'm going to go back. And now I'm going to copy this link to the clipboard because I want to share the link. So now it's copied. So I'm just going to go into my email account, and we come over, and what I'm going to do is I would send the message off to myself. So I just received the message in my email, and it just opened up on my end. It just opened up the bulletin board that we had. Now, nothing is on here. So I'm going to go over to the post, to the blogging post, and what's your favorite part? And I'm just typing in right now. And then I hit enter on my other end, which would be the student's end, and you'll notice all of a sudden, boom, up it came in here. Now, because I'm logged in, you're going to be able to see that with it, but it would be anonymous with the students if you chose the not to show the name above. And then somebody else on their end could see this, and then they could also add a comment, and they enter that in. And there we go. And then you can just keep building your post if you would like with it. Now you'll notice you do have 3 dots over on the side. If you click that, you can edit the comment, you could delete the comment. Students would be able to change their own because I gave them the ability to do that, but they can't change somebody else's. It's really, really simple to be able to use, and if you ever want to create another one that would go on to there, we can just add another blog on here. And we can go door, ideas for our door. I publish it, and there it is. So we have this one that's popping in here too. So we can keep just adding onto this if we would like. So you'll see the doors right over there. If I grab it, I can drag it over to this end if I would like. And on the student's end, they'll see live updates of whatever you're doing. You don't have to keep sharing this blog at all. If you don't want to keep going with your blog, let's say, you want to keep the same link to be able to go over to it, you can come into this, you can click delete, and you can delete that one. That way you only ever have to have shared the one link for the site, and then the students will always see what it is that you're updating on here. If you're going to be using a blog in your classroom, this is a phenomenally easy blog for you to be able to use. And like I said, it's free. You have up to 6 free blogs that you can use. Some of the other items that appear to be available to you may not be working on your end because it is free. So just experiment, find out what'll work for you, and life will be just fantastic for you if you use this. So again, the program is called Padlet. Have fun.